Good morning, ladies. Welcome everybody to the weekly Synergy Lady Chat Show. And we come on every week, and we talk about different subjects. About health, well-being, environment, happiness, peace, anger. Sadness, everything. Just to help everything that most people go through in life. And I think is something that we're always kind of talking about in some form. So today we're going to talk about staying in harmony with your environment, and how to stay in harmony. And we're going to look at it in a different way. Each lady's here, we have a way of looking at it in a different way. And you may have heard of feng shui. That is also related to staying in harmony with your environment. We kind of go into that. We'll kind of mention that as we are talking about so today. So how are you doing, Fran? How is your day been?
Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you. How are you?
Good, yeah. Very busy day. Yeah, I just got my car service, so it's been good. At least one thing is done.
Mm-hmm.
And how's Annalika doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you doing? The
Good.
weather is lovely. This is summer, isn't it? Where it's finally here, right? So we're enjoying the summer.
Well, I like the way you said finally here and then suddenly it's gone.
I know, I know. We usually get the shortest summer ever, but hopefully this one will last after till after August, maybe.
Oh yeah, we hope so. We hope so. We'd love to have a long summer. It's so lovely to go out and just enjoy the warm weather and it's also the longer days, isn't it? It's a long day as well, so it's not that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're not sleeping that much and nowadays, isn't it? Do you
yeah.
find do you find it that you wake up much earlier? But it's okay. I feel good anyway. I wake up early. I'm able to go running
Oh
5
wow,
a.m.
running,
I
running.
started doing running in the mornings. So
That's good.
I stopped my gym for the summer. So I said I will be doing running.
Fantastic, good to know. That's it's quite good because I mean today's talk about staying in harmony with your environment. And
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to say, that she's already staying in harmony.
she, so that's quite a good start.
That's positive reinforcement.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we're going to talk about staying in harmony with the environment. I mean, that's a kind of a broad subject, and we could maybe go into different ways to looking at it. And okay, I will go with you, Fran, in a sense of what's your thoughts when I say staying in harmony with the environment? What does it come to your mind? What's your kind of definition of that? How do you look at that?
Yeah, what comes to mind is I think about the word harmony, which
Yeah.
means being in agreement or
Hmm.
bringing things together. Then environment, meaning my surroundings, and it can be my surroundings as the land or the water or the people or the trees. Yeah, so that make up my surroundings. So what came into my mind is being in agreement with my environment, being positive with my environment.
Wow. Yeah, that's really good. I mean, as I said, people have a different kind of understanding definition of how to stay in with them, but everyone's got things that they look at in a different way. So, Annalika, what's your thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, my thoughts really. You've said vibration sometimes when we talk, and when I was going through this, how we're going to talk about this again, vibration kept coming to me, and the first time I heard about vibration was from Bob Proctor. Late Bob Proctor. He died this year, and he showed the human body taking a picture, I don't know, with some kind of camera, and he showed how the human body, the camera showed the radio, is it what do I call it, radiomagnetic rays,
It's
or
an order. It's an
what
order.
he called it, but he showed light. He showed us, different kind of light around us, and he says we are constantly vibrating, and it makes me, he relates it to like when you talk about the, what do you call, the he says there are things here. What we see physically with our eyes is like 0.005% of what is actually there. There's so much that is around us that we don't see, even just around us, the vibrations and all that. So, and it says that we have to always connect to the right things that we want by thinking of the right things that we want. And it's just like when you tune to a radio station, right? How is it you tune a radio station and you get the right frequency that you want? But there are thousands out there or millions out there, isn't it? But you're able to put the right tune and you get to the right one. So that was what I thought of when this topic came up, that it's so deep, right? But that's my line of thinking now. We have to constantly remember to align ourselves to the things we want and not things we don't want, because that's how we can attract what we want, because everything is around us, everything is there. In the realm of the spirit, there's no distance. Even again, from my faith, we know that, the realm of the spirit, there is no distance. You can be here thinking about someone, about a loved one back home. For me, maybe I'll be thinking, oh, I need to call my mom today. And immediately my mom start calling me. And I was saying I will call you today. How did that happen? It would be that she was already thinking of calling me, but in the spirit, we already connected. I already started feeling like I want to call her because she is already thinking of calling me. So it's so deep, but it's just, the main thing is that we have to remember that we are a spirit being, and there are things we need to always do. Like, there are things we need to know, there are things we need to do. We need to for us to be able to achieve what we want, and part of it is to be in harmony with, our surroundings, our nature, that what we are talking about today. I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, you definitely have made sense. You and Fran have definitely made sense. I mean, Bob Proctor, he was talking about the machine they have is called an ordering machine, and there's just a lot of holistic therapists I've seen have used it, and I've seen it in some of the events that people set, and you can see the order. So we are extension of energy, and we are vibrating in a different level, each one of us. And that's why, having a positive state of mind or being aligned, makes a huge difference, because that's how we attract different kind of people towards us, because we vibrating in their level or they're vibrating in our level. And that's why also we attract people who are very needy. If we're very giving and caring, person who's very needy feels that, oh, I want that kind of energy, and they are drawn as well. So I understand where you came from, because environment is energy. Everything is like a vibration. It's like a frequency. And you mentioned that, we don't see with our eyes. We see, just a kind of, we don't even we don't see beyond our nose. That's what it is, everything out beyond it. That's there's a lot of stuff that we don't see. And So yeah, it's crazy, you know. If you tune into it, you can see far more. There's a story. There was one point somebody was saying that, you know, it's like in a big in a big football stadium, and there's a table and a lamp, and it's at night, and there's a lamp on this table, and only thing that people will see is that table. And but when you switch on the main light of the stadium, you'll see just more than just a table that is in that studio. So we're actually seeing that table only. We don't see the whole environment, the whole stadium, you know. So it is very interesting, and it's quite deep, as you said. We could go on about it. So when we're talking about staying in harmony with environment, I know Fran mentioned about staying like positive and all that stuff. Can you expand on that, Fran? And before we go on, I just quickly want to say, ladies, can you share it on your page as well? That'd be great. You know, we could maybe share with other people. But Fran, maybe can you extend on, okay, how can we stay in harmony with the environment?
Yeah, you say expand on being
But
positive.
how can we stay? You know, you mentioned about environment. You know, what ways can we do to stay in harmony with our environment?
Yeah, some of the ways we can do that, sometimes depending on the people you mingle with in that environment. So mingling with people of positive mindedness can also help you to harmonize with your environment, because like what we saw when I was looking at a function, which is the Chinese way of a harmonization in their own environment. So that there is a positive, there is an energy. It's just like a transfer of an energy. So this energy is kind of transmitted to you from the people that are already there, or from the objects that are in that environment, meaning that if they are negative, you're going to be attracted by the negativity. So if they are positive, you will be positive. For example, if you were weighing down, you are so tired and bored, and to the extent that you feel like doing nothing. But at a moment where you get into the midst of people that are energetic, the midst of people that want to do more, you will be encouraged to start looking at what they are looking at. So that means that their energy has been transmitted to you. So in such situation, you can be positive. So it depends on the people you meet in your environment. Again, what are the type of activities you do that motivates you, that can make you to have a positive mind? For example, waking up in the morning and maybe beginning with an exercise that sets your brain and your whole body at rest will keep you more positive than waking up in the morning and start up a quarrel with someone, or maybe start abusing someone. That will spoil your day. And again, for you to be positive, sometimes the type of food that people eat can also make them to be positive. For example, a child that like eating rice, wake up in the morning and see that, oh, mom is making rice today. And that will make their day bright, because they are looking forward to eating it and they'll be so happy. But assuming you were making the food that they don't even like, so they will just be feeling miserable. Even at a point, they will tell you they are not hungry. So there are certain ways by which you can make yourself or your environment positive. And again, you have to try to reinforce it. If everybody there were just quiet and dormant about activities or things that matters, you can also create it. You can create your own environment to suit the way you think. So to cut it short, I would say it is natural again, if I refer to what the conscious philosophers we are saying, that it is a science that has been created naturally to make human beings harmonize with their environment. So the way your environment is will certainly affect you. For example, somebody with mental health, there are certain colors they might see and it will trigger some challenging behaviors. There are certain actions they will see, their challenging behavior will trigger. So if they were in such environment, they will be challenging all the day. But if you put them in an environment that calm their mood, their spirit, so somebody will be asking you, come on, what did you do today? He's so cooperative today. Yes, because you were able to subject them to an environment that suits their situation. There is this, for example, sometimes if you have seen some children with additional support needs, there's this environment, like the sensory, if you put them in a sensory room, for some of them, it calms their nerves, it calms their body, and they will just be normal. So, but why to some people, it will trigger their own situation. So the most important thing here is for you to realize, to find out what environment that solve your problem, what environment that makes your day positive. Then as human being, we work with it. For example, as somebody that suffers from arthritis, I don't think that person will normally like to be under the code, because the code will make it worse. It will aggravate the pains. So
Yes,
good environment is not going to be good for such persons. So we have to make ourselves or make our day to be positive by finding those things that are suitable to our situation.
thank you, Afrans. Thank you for that extensive understanding of what you're saying. Annalika, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I would say, well, like Fran has said, it's all individual, isn't it? You have to have why, what you want to achieve, as if you have a goal. Is it if you're thinking about getting a better career, or more financial income or something when it comes to financial. So a lot of people have heard about vision board. I don't have a vision board, but I do have a book where I can stick pictures. So again, it's a way of constantly looking at the things that you want, and thinking about it, putting it before you. Sometimes you may even have your wall, a vision wall. And again, when it does, if it's if you're looking at achieving something in your life that is physical, or you just want peace, you want alignment in your spirit and all that, so you want calmness, you can just make sure at least you live in an area that is calm and not noise polluted near the highway and things like that. You may want to, instead of hearing motor cars passing and all the noise, you may want to look for an environment that is, you rather want to hear birds chirping and waterfall. Maybe that will calm you down. But some people like the city life. Like Fran said, it's all up to you what you want to achieve, what you want to get out of it. And you can do something within your home as well. I like to play music in the house. So you know, anytime I get, sometimes I would sing by myself, but sometimes it's easier when you have something playing and you sing along. So I think all that is what keeps us in harmony with what we want, because it's all up to you what your spirit is desiring, what you want to achieve. You need to know that you can control it. You don't have to um keep, like, instead of, before I started thinking this way, I used to listen to the news. Well, no offense to people who want to listen to the news, but for me it wasn't aligning to the things I want to achieve with my life. It was becoming a distraction. And I said, you know what, if anything is news at all, eventually I will hear it. I don't need to be the first to hear about it. I don't need to hear all the breaking news. And that was it. No more, no more, news, unless something becomes like viral. Then I know, yeah, that's really important. Then I go and search it out myself. So it's just to say that we need to, from within, control our environment, and we need to be in harmony with what we want, knowing that we ourselves, we are spiritual beings, and we don't have to let the environment control us. We have to control our environment, and we have to align ourselves with the things we want in life. Like Francisca was saying, if we don't need to wake up and start putting, things that will upset us first thing in the morning. you know Wake up, be intentional, and put positive things in your mind, especially if you know that's what you want. And why won't you want it? Everybody wants to have a positive day. So if you want to have a positive day, wake up with positive things. For me, again, I would like to wake up with a prayer, or you know read my Bible, or even if it's just one line in the scripture, but at least that's starting me right in the right things I want to think about before any junk from outside spoils my day. So yeah.
It sounds. Thank you for that as well, Anilika. It is so important that we do have a choice of our environment. Yeah, and especially where we live. And Feng Shui is the meaning of Feng Shui is wind and water, and their kind of concept of having a harmonious environment is totally different from people who are teaching it here in the UK. But it's all about our own energy, how we vibrate. Are we very comfortable where we are? We do sense. We as sensual beings, we sense things. We sense things if that something is not right. We sense things that if we're in a room or a field doesn't feel like but we don't take action because our energy, is saying this is not right environment. I know I like that, and it's about the news and stuff. I know a lot of people watch the news and things like that, and basically they kind of unbalance their harmony in their home. You could maybe having a families are very happy and smiling and cheerful. Next minute they put on the news. Next minute all this stuff is coming through to their home and basically destroying the harmony of the home. And people don't realize that. They might not feel it there and then, but it affects people's mood. Some people might get frustrated, some people might get angry, and all those things is affected. I was saying this is a story. Years and years ago, I used to stay in Kirkintilloch, and I was moving home, and I didn't know which home to buy. And I'm looking around, driving, and I'm thinking, where do I stay? I'm not really sure. I want to be somewhere where that I'm happy. So one day I was driving along, and I went to an area, and I thought I'd like to live here. And as I drove by, this particular house stood out, and it wasn't up for sale. I did not know anything about the house, what was in it, nothing. And I drove by, and there's something kind of attracted to me to this house. I say, oh, I'd love to stay in that house. It feels nice. It feels right. And I'm telling you, I did not have a clue what was inside and how many rooms. And then a week later, it was up for sale, out of the blue. And I went to see it. And I went into the house, and it was kind of very plain. There was one sofa in the middle of the room, and there was kind of flowery wallpaper. It was not my type of design or anything, and I'm thinking, it just feels empty. And as I walked through the house, and I thought, well, I could design, I could put my own stamp on it. And as I went into the garden, and they had like a Chinese garden, feng shui. It was a small garden, but it was very, very calming. I could see myself being in the garden and relaxing and enjoying, and the energy in the garden was really good. And I thought that I am going to buy this house, and I bought it. I actually got it was somebody else interested, and apparently my offer was accepted. And what I found from that house was that I have been very happy in the house for many, many years. And the great thing is, my next door neighbor who I had, he was a fantastic gardener, and we became really, really good friends. And he was a joiner, so he done my house up and everything. So everything just worked out. And this is what energy is, because my vibration attracted that house, and the vibration said, well, she's going to be really happy there, and everybody who came through the house felt really peaceful. Even everyone mentioned, oh, it feels really peaceful here. So they sensed it as well. So it shows you that when we talk about being harmony with your environment, I think it's being harmony with yourself first, which allows you to track the environment that you want to be around. Even the people you want to be around, you attract people, even things, some things may be not in harmony with our body or our energy. Even example of phones, for example, we have different types of phones, and some people go with Apple, some people go with Samsung, some people go with, but why is that? Some people feel, I feel comfortable having this phone. I always go with, Samsung. I've never really drawn to Apple. I don't know what it is. I'll go towards a particular perfume because I don't know much about the company. I feel there's a really good energy with that person who made the perfume, or the company behind it is got a good energy. So we all are drawn to what we feel. And when we say about staying in harmony with the environment, and I love that Anilika was saying about, I love music, and I'll give you another example about harmony. My plants in the house, for when I moved here, wasn't growing. All the leaves are falling off and stuff. And people gave me plants because they were dying from their own home. And when I brought into my home, they started to flourish. And seriously, it started to flourish. I've got 2 plants of 2 people. They were dying, and next minute they're flourishing, because the environment of the home is different to somebody else's. And I put in music in the background and all that, because our plants are intelligent, and they take in. And when people say I'm vegan and I don't want to kill animals because they're intelligent, trust me, plants are intelligent and they're living as well. So think about that one. So I just want to bring that into play. So the plants are growing. So with my own experience, I know the stuff I've experienced, which I've seen with my own eyes, tells you what we're talking about today. So I want to kind of share that with you, with some of my experiences. So Fran, you want to say, kind of summon up what you said within a minute or so, because we're also running out of time as well,
Yes, just to say that, do you know that plants can listen?
Yes.
So yeah, if you receive it with your whole mind, so they survived for you.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's it. And when we are talking about this harmonizing or how to stay in harmony with our environment. And with all the things we have said, what came to my mind was, for example, at workplaces, have you ever asked yourself, like some people, they kept moving job. They go to this job, they move, they go to the other job. It's not as if they are not being well paid, but sometimes because that environment is not in agreement with them, because of too much negativity in such places. So, and when we talk about this science of energy, when you go to an environment that you see their positive energy is good, you can just imagine how people will be attracted to that place. Even when people are leaving, they are saying, oh, but I don't really want to go. And you look at their innermost mind, they are saying the truth. Not like when people are leaving, I don't really want to go, but at the back of their mind, they are just saying, I better get out of this environment. So, having said this, people should look at this. Even the managers, even the leaders, people that work in certain places and various places as well, try to make the environment conducive, comfortable for whosoever, because people come to your job and they leave. Even though you want to pay them, no matter how much you want to pay them, they don't care about it. All the process of recruitment just gone for nothing. Have you ever sat down and asked yourself why? Why is it happening? Because too much negative energy at workplace, just pushing people out. So that's what I just wanted to relate this, what we are saying now, to it. And again, even in our homes as well, sometimes people stay away. Maybe a child don't want to go back home because of this and that. Maybe husband don't want to go back home because of too much trouble, too much nagging. And wife don't want to go back home because of too much embarrassment and abusement. So all these things, we as human beings, we ought to make our environment conducive for ourselves and to others as well, so that people can feel more comfortable and relaxed.
Thank you, Fran, for that. And thank you for covering the workplace as well. It's so important how people move on, and it's due to uncomfortable environment. But we could talk about another thing about relating to that. It's quite interesting how things can shift as well within the work environment. But thank you, Fran, for kind of summing up what you were saying there. Annalika, and you want to say anything else before we go?
Yeah, well, just it's amazing what Fran just pointed out. So many workplaces, I think, do put effort in to create the right environment, and a lot of people don't want to leave because they feel it's not a toxic environment. So while some places are just toxic, a lot of bickering, a lot of stress and things like that. Some workplace even puts like relaxing things, like putting a relaxed area or giving them a gym and things like that. So it's about us mainly creating the right environment for us. If you want to attract, be conscious of that. Let's just be conscious of that. Let's know that we can create the right feel around our home, the right atmosphere in the house. Like Fran has already said, it's in our power to do it. Nobody else will do it for us. Go for the things you want. Stay away from the things you don't want, because that's what you attract. If you don't want to be a negative person, well, stay away from negative people as well, and stay away from things that are negative, and put in the positive, the things you want. Stay closer to those things, and you would be in alignment. Sometimes you may drift away, but if you know your goal and your purpose is to always be in the positive side, we always realign again and again and again, and it's a lifestyle.
Thank you for Nilika for that as well, Fran as well. I mean, if we could talk about this subject, we could go on and on about. I mean, could cover work and various other places, but it's really up to ourselves and being more aware of our own harmony within ourselves, and how do we reflect that in our environment, and what are we taking in from the environment, and how is it affecting us, and how we could make that change. We have the power to make that change. So we ladies, obviously, if you got any questions want to ask any one of us, we are on Facebook, and you can message us and ask us anything, regarding the topic that we're talking about. We come on every Monday about 5:30 on my page. I would love you to share it with your family and friends. Let us know what your thoughts are on this topic. Is your environment in harmony, or if not, how can you make it in harmony with yourself, or are you harmony at work? There's so many things, so we'd love to hear from you as well. So thank you for everybody watching, and remember to keep sharing it with family and friends. Everyone's going to really benefit from the show. So remember to keep watching us every Monday at 5:30 here with the Synergy Ladies. I would love to hear from you as well. Please put a comment on, or if you got a question, we'd love to answer your questions as well. So thank you, Fran. Thank you, Annalika. Thank you for coming on, and we will be back next week with another topic. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.